What's up everybody, Cursing Mushroom here and welcome back to another Destiny video. So guys, I've had some issues with some of my equipment, so hopefully this comes across good. I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. But I wanted to get some information about Destiny out to you guys. It's almost like no one noticed. So check it out. So 125-2018, obviously it's 26, I'm a day late, but that's okay. I had other things going on. Like I said, some of my equipment failed on me this week. I will be getting some new equipment in a couple days, so bear with me. The videos ain't going to be as good. Probably, I'll do my best. So, okay. So they talk about a little bit about the faction rallies last week and New Monarchy winning, and now they talk about January 30th here, okay, that Iron Banner starting back in its control. And what's really interesting, and I'm going to show you here, this sentence right here. You see what this says? There will definitely be Season 2 weapons in the Iron Banner Engram, and we will be adding more in the next event. Guys, why didn't you just do it from the start, man? Like, why do we got to go through this with you? I feel like this is like a love-hate relationship. You know I love the game, but I love to hate you as well. Bunch of reskins, but that's okay because it's new. It's got some kind of reroll on a perk. I will take it. Ghost, ships, emblems, sparrows. It says that the ship is not there. They're going to save it. Let us discover it ourselves. So maybe it won't be a reskin. Okay. And they talk about, you know, obviously that you're going to be able to get rewards. You're going to be able to buy thus weapons and armor pieces, which is really cool. I wish they wouldn't have done the weapons. I just personally don't like the fact that you can buy weapons. To me, weapons should be more coveted than anything in the game because they're supposed to be more unique in my opinion. And I feel like that's what makes it kind of like a little bit unbalanced, which is nice because, you know, if you grind a lot, you should be able to, you know, show that you're powerful because of it. But that's okay, whatever. That's their decision. I'm not just totally against it. And then what you have here is you have the ornaments, which are here. As you can see, not too many changes. I'm not really into the whole whatever this look is personally, but I do like the shoulder pieces and the helmet. I'm not really fond of the bottom half of the Titan. The Warlock, not really fond of this thing here. Or the shoulder pieces. I'd like it if those were just gone, personally. And then the Hunter, this rooster thing has got to go. But it's an ornament, whatever. Shows you did it. Awesome. Okay. And this is where it starts getting good. So they're talking about Masterworks of Armor. Okay. They're going to be dropping them on the 30th. Okay. So here's the benefits. Now they say obviously from raids and trials you can get a higher chance of dropping, but you still can get them from everywhere else. So check it out. Each armor piece grants 3% damage resistance while using a super. You're like, well, that's not that much. But it actually stacks for a total of 15% damage reduction, which is really nice. It's not really much, honestly, but the fact that it stacks, that to me shows that they're moving in the right direction. Allowing something to stack is how it should always be. If you want to min-max, let me min-max, like, period. Okay, and so obviously you can rework them into heavy, light, or restorative, and guess what? It only costs 1 masterwork and 10 legendary shards. Awesome. I'm glad it ain't like 5 because my worry was that you would literally re-roll it and get the same thing over and over again and spend like 5 shards or whatever, or 5 cores, excuse me. But, you know, whatever. Not too bad. And they also say that there's a UI bug right now where if you try to quickly rework armor sets, it will appear to rework the same stats. It doesn't actually perform the rework function or use materials, but can be quite scary, so we wanted to give you a heads up. That's a good piece of information there. This right here, you're showing that you make mistakes, and that is what I want to see because that tells me you actually care. This whole bullcrap, oh, it's all perfect, and then everybody finding stuff out. This right here, guys, that's a step in the right direction. I wish you would have done that sooner and not this late in the game, but that's okay. You're going to need to work your butt off in order to get a bunch of people back because I know there are a lot of people upset with you right now. So they talk about raid reward renewal, and they talk about pretty much how currently you open a chest and you get nothing. Okay, so they're pretty much saying that now you're going to start getting stuff from these encounters, which is really nice. And then they talk about the new raid armor. So let's talk a little bit about it as well. So check this out. Right? Take a look here. Okay, so Raid Armor now has specific mods, okay? And let's read this. I'm going to read it for you. Raid Armor now drops with perks that function on the Leviathan. These appear on mods that are selectable on both new drops and existing Raid Armor pieces you may already have in your inventory. Additionally, these mods are reusable. If you swap to another one of these, we will always be in the list to swap back on your Raid Armor for the low price of 1 Callus token. So that's awesome. I get to reuse it on any, Raid Armor piece I want to, whatever, nice. Since no one wants to take a -5 power penalty if they want to remove their legendary mods while in the raid, all raid mods are legendary by default. This should also be extra icing on the cake for players who can't seem to get the last mod they need to max out their gear. The goal for these perks was to elevate the power of the Guardians in the raid, and we aimed to build things that were useful in every encounter. As a result, we avoided things that relied on specific mechanics to be useful and moved to broadly useful perks like recharge your grenade when you activate your super and deal 20% extra damage after getting a melee kill, as opposed to things tied to specific mechanics. This right here, guys, this shit right here, excuse my language, this could be a big game changer. Big game changer. Melee a lesser and do some work. Do some work. On the actual Callus encounter, there's a bunch of dogs down below. It's like, all right, Guardians, we're going to do a 3-3 split. 3 people jump on, 3 people melee dogs and jump on. So that way they're already staggering him. You get up there and you shoot your rocket at him and boom, you've done 20% extra damage with your first rocket. That can be a really, really cool mechanic. And recharge your grenade when you activate your super. That's not like the most important thing to me just because it's not, but I will take it. I mean, if I throw my grenade, I make sure I just gotta, throw your grenade before you activate your super. But this is a step in the right direction as well. That's what I like to see. Okay, double drops. Clearing prestige now gives you prestige and normal drops, which is cool. Here we go. Raid encounters always drop a raid piece, like I was saying earlier. Raid vendor sells a rotating selection of raid gear. So how this is going to work is it's just going to rotate what you can buy, and you have to actually beat the raid right here. For instance, if you want to buy prestige chest armor, you need to complete prestige mode that week before you can do so. So if you're trying to get that, you have to actually beat the prestige mode once that week before you can buy the other pieces of armor, which is really cool because that allows people that are in prestige to obtain it, but people who have not to be locked out. Okay? And he'll change every week. Now, exotic raid ghost contender shell. This right here, dude, is really interesting. Okay, I'm glad that they brought something new that can drop. Look at this, dude. Sweet, huh? But that's not what's the coolest thing about it. Okay, so let's check out these perks. So it can drop from the final encounter in the Leviathan or Eater of Worlds. And it says that we also included some bad luck protection to avoid the previously mentioned Nano Phoenix problem so that the dedicated raiders can rest assured they'll get their hands on it eventually. It takes several weeks. But this right here, this one sentence blows my mind. Blows my mind. Okay, first, Seeker of Brilliance enables the chance for encounters to drop bright engrams from their loot pools. Every time one doesn't drop a bright engram, we increase the chance for the next. Holy fucking mind explosion! What? Dude! So, I'm super happy about that. That is a complete kick in the nuts to Eververse, and I'm okay with it. I wasn't super against Eververse, but that will make it easier for people who just despise the thought of it. Okay, so I'm completely okay with this. And then also they said they were going to update the chest where you can get exotics from them. And then right here it says, remember exotics that can drop from the encounters I was talking about earlier. Well, Seeker of Opulence means that those exotics have a 50% chance to pull from a list of exotics you haven't collected yet instead of the standard list. So that's pretty cool. So if you do get an exotic drop, it's a 50% greater chance that it's going to be something you don't have. And the last part is we threw on Seeker of Glory, which provides a tracker for the number of encounters you've defeated on the Leviathan, which is really cool. I like the whole look of this. I'm happy with what's going on here. You've got some patch notes. Prometheus Lens is getting a refix. Flame Refraction perk now generates ammo instead of pulling from reserves. Increased base damage. Fixed an issue where new characters created after the release of Curse of Osiris are not receiving the Flashpoint milestone. Players in social spaces like the Tower receive a notification when they're lost and found that their postmaster is full. Heroic Strike completions now have a greater chance of gaining exotic rewards, which is good. Mercury challenges are now available for during adventures. Fixed an issue where Curse of Osiris strikes were not properly gaining Clan Ingrams when featured as a Nightfall activity. About time so we can actually have one as a Nightfall. And fixed an issue where challenges were not appearing within quick play. Increased the dismantle timer for Masterwork cores so you don't dismantle them on accident. And you've got Shader Sit Down. So he goes into talk about how he knows that shaders, everybody wants to be able to just dismantle a bunch at once. And they're looking into it. What I'm kind of not sure about personally. Okay, so he's got some bullet points. Let me read these. It should be easier to get rid of a stack of shaders. We get that. We're looking at mass exchange solutions. We know you miss D1 armor shader mechanics. Personally, I do not, because I like to be able to mix and match if something doesn't look right. I actually like this shader system. I don't like that it's a consumable as much anymore as I thought I would, because there's some of them that are in Eververse that it takes me a really long time to get them. And so what I'll do is I'll just, play the game, and then when I do eventually get them, I'll equip that armor set then, or I'll have a different shader equipped that looks similar, so that way you can't tell that I don't have it on. But they're saying they're looking into reintegrating the capability without losing the ability to shade weapons, ghost ships, sparrows, or customize specific pieces of armor. And that's where my big catch-22 was. I want to be able to customize a specific piece of armor, because you never know. Some things it's a black and gold shader, but it's white and purple or some shit. It's like, what is going on here? So we also understand you want shaders to be more freely usable and not limited by availability. Absolutely. We're looking at reintroducing shader collections, or a way to get copies of a shader in your possession. I like that. Problem is I'm going to have to collect it first if you do it that way. And so they say here the work is ongoing, and we will go on and record as to when the solution will land as we get closer to that fix that we test and certify. For now, it's important that it's on our workbench. Okay. And this is for the 30th. Okay. January 30th. Okay. So here's your times here. Monday, they're going to be down from 10 a.m. Pacific time to 12 p.m. Pacific time. And then Tuesday is when it will go live. They're going to do server maintenance. Well, this one's not downtime, actually, Monday. They're just doing maintenance while the game is... That's weird. So 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. is downtime for this update. I'm excited to get this update because I want to start working on Armor Masterworks. Latent development issue was discovered. If a player attempts to rework a master, reworking perks. Okay, so I'm guessing on the 31st, they will be trying to put a patch in. No? They're doing back-end maintenance, I guess, on the 31st for that issue where when you rework it, it doesn't use your core and it doesn't change it. It just confuses you. So they say here, I'm going to read this last part from Cosmo. Some of what we're talking about this week are just the first steps in the plan we laid into our developmental update a few weeks ago. You can expect the next update to land in February. We don't plan on going dark until then. We'll be around keeping you informed on how everything is going. Next week, we will send out a graphical roadmap that will illustrate the updates we have planned for the coming weeks and months, along with what you can expect to find in them. With Armor Masterworks and new raid rewards next week is a prime opportunity to revisit the Leviathan. If raiding isn't your jam, Iron Banner is calling your name. I plan on partaking in both. Maybe I'll see you out in the wild, Cosmo. So, guys, what do you guys think about this whole... stuff going on here? I think it's some good positive things. Let's keep the communication open. I want to make sure that if you've got something to say to them, guys, just put yourself out there. Even if you're worried about how people think, whatever, fuck what people think, man. Put yourself out there and tell them, hey, look, I appreciate everything you're doing, but could you do it this way? Or if you've got an opinion or something, don't be in the dark, because that's how we end up getting all this stuff changed like we have, because a lot of the people from D1 complained about certain things that they shouldn't have been complaining about. You should have been complaining about this, not this, but the people that were content weren't saying anything, and everything got changed, and now here we are. So let's keep that in mind, guys. Speak your opinion. Voice it loud. And I'm going to try to do my part to help you guys. So if there's anything you got to say, let me know, and I'll try to voice it out there for you. So guys, I hope you've had a great afternoon, morning, day, or night. As usual, cursing mushroom out. Hey guys, thanks for watching my video. Don't forget, you can subscribe to my channel in the comments or the description down below. Also, hit the little red bar and the bell to be notified.